titans of our community. These are people, when I look back, you know, Len Lewinsky and people like that when I was 8, 9 years old. And these guys they were it. I mean, they ran the show, and you looked up to these guys and you listened to everything that they said, and they were responsible for everything that was being produced in our town, and had a huge influence on kids like myself. And joining this group, I've been involved in the community sports scene for about 9 or 10 years now, and the last few years, these guys that are getting in are all my friends, and guys that I would trust my life with, and they're just solid people, and it speaks magnitudes to win this award. Really speaks volumes about the character that you bring. And the next person is a friend of mine, and is in that company. Absolutely. The energy that this man has is just phenomenal. And I think what sets John apart, as a peer of his, is he cares more about everyone, I think, than anybody else in the business. He's the guy that's going to take a B team or a C team or a D team and put them in a tournament in Bucks County and play at 8 o'clock at night with a bunch of kids that are new to the sport or been cut from 3 other teams. And when you meet guys like that, and you entrust your children to work with, to be coached by people like that, they're very rare, and they care more than just about the sport itself. They care deeply about the development of kids. And without further ado, a good friend of mine, I'm super proud that this award has been bestowed upon him. John Considine is going to be the winner of this award, and we're going to bring up another Delaware County legend to introduce him, and that's the athletic director and his coach from high school, which is John Waller. So John, I'll bring you up first.
Thank you for associating me with the Christian Academy and not that green and white school that has been spoken about this evening. But it gives me great pleasure to introduce this year's recipient of the Warren B. Hume Sport Person of the Year Award. John called me about a month ago and told me he was receiving this award and needed someone to introduce him. And the 2 people that came to his mind were, I'm going to start crying, his dad and me. Some of you are probably aware that John's dad is home in heaven with his Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So that left me. And I have to admit, I wavered. And I asked John to give me a few days to think and pray about it. And there were 2 reasons that I was hesitant. First, speaking before large audiences is not my favorite thing to do. In locker rooms with teams, absolutely, no question. Large audience at banquets, not so much. The second reason is you can easily count on one hand how many times I've seen John in the past 30 years. This probably is the first time in a long time, quite honestly. So I asked myself, how do I do this? Well, I coached John in high school basketball back in 1988 and 89. And I hope and do believe that there are some life lessons he learned and has carried with him to this day. Lessons about commitment, hard work, discipline, teamwork, and certainly many others as well. In my 40 years of coaching and dealing with many college coaches and recruiters, there always seemed to be 3 questions that they would ask about prospective recruits. 1, what kind of student is he? 2, how is his work ethic? And 3, what kind of person is he? If John were the person being recruited, his character qualities in answer to these questions, as we have already heard, would come shining through. After graduating high school from the Christian Academy in 1989, he attended West Virginia University and graduated with a degree in political science in 1993. He then earned a law degree from Nova Southeastern University in 1998 and has practiced law from 1999 to the present. This certainly speaks to the kind of student he is. Sports-wise, John served as president of the Aston Middletown Little League from 2016 to 2018. He has coached with the Media Hoops basketball program from 2011 to the present. He was on the board from 2015 to 2018. He was District 2 Commissioner for Eastern PA Youth Soccer from 2015 to 2018 and has been Director of the Rose Tree Soccer Club Boys and Girls Travel Programs from 2013 to the present. John is also currently coaching 3 soccer teams, U10 girls, U17 girls, and U14 boys. These positions of servant leadership not only speak to John's work ethic, but also to the kind of person he is as well. John obviously has a servant's heart. So finally, what has motivated John to serve in these different capacities, as well as being a great husband, father, and son? Well, I believe it was something written in his high school yearbook next to his graduation picture. It was written by the Apostle Paul to the Corinthian church, and it says, whatever you do, do it all to the glory of God. And now, this year's Warren B. Hume Sports Person of the Year Award, John Constantine.
Hello everyone. I know we've been sitting here for a while, so I'll try to keep it under about 8 minutes. Crystal, let me know. First and foremost, thank you so much for the Media Area Sports Hall of Fame for this great honor. I'm truly blessed and honored to be in front of you. Thank you and congratulations to all my fellow inductees as well. Thank you, Rose Tree Soccer Club, our chairman, Jeff Arbogast, president, Ben Chambers, our administrator, Judy McDonald, director of coaching, Fred Potts, Kylie Hill is here from the board, and if I forgot anybody, Roberto there, everyone else part of the board, thank you. Also like to thank the Media Youth Center, Larry Johnson who's here, the rest of the Johnson family. I think Mr. Levy was here as well earlier. Thank you to all them. Aston Middletown Little League, President Sean Wool, and the rest of the Little League and volunteers of the board. As I said, I'm truly honored to be standing here. I think the same experience that everyone, all my other inductees had when they first got the call. Although mine's a little different. It's like Steve, Hall of Fame Sports, me. I'm not saying it, but then when I fully understood the award, then I got it. So thank you. I'm just truly honored to be here. And as I started to think about what I wanted to say, there was many people that I could thank, but there was 3 people that came to mind, most importantly right out in the forefront of why I'm standing here and why I became a coach and why I volunteered. The first one was Coach Waller. As he indicated, he was my basketball coach in high school, as well as my gym teacher in high school. And most people identify me as being related to soccer in the community, which is a sport that I absolutely love. But in high school, I slept, drank, ate basketball. I loved it. I wanted nothing more to play basketball in high school, and wanted to eventually play in college if that was something, but obviously wasn't good enough for that. But that was my dream. I love basketball. And I had Coach Waller, and he took the words right out of my mouth. I almost thought you were reading my speech, Coach. Coach Waller was in every sense of the word a coach. He was a mentor, he was a friend, he was a motivator, a teacher,
an all-around huge influence in my life. And I wanted to make sure he introduced me because I wanted to make sure you were publicly recognized, Coach, for what a huge impact he had, not only in my life, but in the lives of many of other students and players that you taught and coached. He coached many years and taught at Christian Academy. Could have made more money elsewhere, I know, but he had a servant heart as well as to be there. And he taught me, most importantly, how sports mirrors life. And in sports, you have to obviously prepare, you got to practice, you have to work hard, you have the determination, commitment to huge commitment, and most importantly, a positive attitude. I always say that nothing comes from a negative, nothing good comes from being negative in life. You got to be positive, and he taught me that. So I got to give you a quick example of the kind of coach Coach Waller was and what I took away from him. So I think it was my junior year. It was a game that was probably well in the balance. Who was going to win was already been decided, and I was, not a starter. I saw sometimes games, depending on the game I was used for my shooting, if they were playing the zone. If it was a man-to-man, I probably wasn't going to see the floor. And this was a game that, fourth quarter, about 2 minutes to go, our center fouled out. Mark Forbes, you might remember. He came down to the end of the bench after fouling out and sat next to me and proceeded to take his shoes off. Unlaced his laces. He knew he wasn't going back in. So it's under a minute. I still hadn't been in. Probably had a little bit of a negative attitude about having not played that game, so I proceeded to do the same thing, take off my shoes. 17 seconds, I'll never forget this, 17 seconds to go. I hear, Beaner! That's my nickname, Bean. I look down, the coach says, you're in. And I said, Coach. And I went to show him my shoes. I didn't go in the game, obviously. And I will tell you that I heard about it after the game. Right in my face, as I should have been. And he let me know that I don't care if there's 17 minutes or 17 seconds. You got to be ready to go and prepared. And when you do go, I don't care how much time it is, you're going to give me everything you got. The thing that we worked on. That's what I need you to do. That stuck with me my entire life. And how when coaching other students or athletes, the young students that I deal with, that you have to work hard, you have to be committed, you have to be determined, you got to be ready to go and be positive. Be sitting on the bench, obviously sulking, so to speak. It's not something you need. You need to be positive at all times. So Coach Waller, thanks. Yeah. The second person was my father. My dad was from Rochester, New York. Huge sports fan, mostly Yankees fan, but he became a Phillies fan. He met my mom working at Scout Paper Company. My mom is here tonight. And they raised my brother and I in Delaware County. And it was growing up that I witnessed my dad and his dedication to being a volunteer. He was involved in an organization called Christian Service Brigade. It's sort of similar to like a Boy Scouts organization. And I witnessed my dad. We had a church that we went to in Darby called Maranatha. He spent hours of giving his time to the boys in that community, which was outside of where we lived, taking them fishing and camping and canoeing and archery and various other activities. And that's the big, huge, as I came to be wanting to get involved in sports and volunteering, is something that I learned from my father, is that life is about showing up. You gotta show up. And he always showed up to those boys. And it came to me, I know it had an impact at his funeral, when I had so many of them come to his funeral, express to me what a positive influence that my father was on their lives. So Dad, who I miss very much, taught me that very important thing about how showing up is important. The third person, for all my time spent away from my home, is my beautiful wife, Krista, who's obviously lets me do that. A lot of wives would not be happy with the amount of hours I spent out of the home coaching and volunteering my time, but she knows I love it. And she probably doesn't remember this, but it was my daughter's U5 game at Rose Street, the very first game when she scored a goal, and I got the call because I was actually volunteering for something else. I couldn't be at the game, but she told me that she scored a goal in her very first game, and from that point on, I became hooked, and I enjoy it. So to Krista, I say, honey, thank you. To my kids, Abigail, who's here tonight, Nate, unfortunately, who's not here tonight because he's sick, as well as my 3-year-old Sam, who obviously could not stand to be here all night with us. But, so, Krista, just to let you know that being Sam's only 3, we only have about 15 more years to go of coaching. So, thanks again to the Media Area Sports Hall of Fame. Again, truly honored and blessed to receive such a prestigious award. So thank you all.